kill here. There's going to be a bunch of harassment traded back and forth as Raji going to block the small camp. Unfortunately, it's a Centaur in the big camp. If it was a Saga, that could be potentially over right then. And we're actually going to have full Triland versus Triland. There you go, folks. In this dual lane meta of all things, we're actually going to have ourselves an old-fashioned try-v-try. And look like James knows exactly what's going on. The name of the game in the Tri-Lane versus Tri-Lane is you got to get that marginal advantage. The way that you get that is running pulls. You get the experience, you get the extra level ahead of the other guys, you go from there. Over mid, Death Prophet having a very fun time. He's in the Tri-Lane stun, gonna completely whiff Raju in the trees, but wants to save that bit of extra mana for an actual kill attempt, maybe once they get some level 2s up. Slark finding some farm, hasn't skilled anything at the moment. Really holding on to the skills. I'm a little bit surprised not to see a point in the pounce, but Ego Simpson, what he's doing. James going in. He's inside the cogs, who's actually trapped with Hoots coming through. The Nugget's tanky, maybe not enough. Long charges. The battery assault and the lightning will prevent any kind of turnaround, and it's actually a first blood for CDEC as they now go running forward, looking for a little bit more. They slow down Raji. Can they get the stun? Looks like they shouldn't be able to, and James are going to try for the turnaround, but it's still only a level of Naga. They don't have the net. And that is actually going to be CDEC getting away with their lives. Okay. Doom is out-CSing the Mirana for the time being up at top, but the lane's only going to get easier if the Mirana continues to pick more damage. And no Saturn to be found. So, not going to have that busted regen aura for the Doom here. James just gonna go and hit another pull. Oh, I have a little bit of egg on my face about how this lane is going. I really thought that FTD were just gonna completely push lanes and that the Clockwork wasn't really gonna be able to accomplish anything, but Marlon looking pretty good. They did a little D-ward around the corner here, but need to be careful. They're just trying to grab these guys from the high ground as Phantom Lancer continue to farm up underneath his tower. Unfortunately, PL not necessarily the best Tri-Lane versus Tri-Lane hero, so that's certainly something to watch out for as SF going double Wraith and somehow Marlon's up here on the high ground with a two-man cog. I don't know quite how that happened, but alright, that worked out great. Got a little bit of damage down, some more harassment being traded back and forth. Mirana now already ahead of Doom in terms of farm, and FTD, I guess, with no real options to go and apply pressure elsewhere. They don't want to expose their Phantom Lancer to any undue pressure. Even with the extra souls, the SF is still not winning this lane by that much, but does have a pretty significant HP advantage over the Death Prophet right now, who is probably going to have to ferry out yet another salve. Slark slightly behind the PL on farm. James with a haste trade wanting to make some kind of wraparound. Not very easy to go on Slark, but Alessius can be a potential kill if he gets a little bit too far out of position. My one concern once we get out of the laning phase for CDEC is that it's a little bit difficult for them to make plays until they get their initial batch of items. They have okay rotating heroes, but they also are very pick-off reliant. Like, if they don't find pickoffs and continue to keep the map lit, and I think FTD just straight up win the game because of ooh, nice dodge on that arrow. But I think FTD straight up just win the game because of better team fight. Beyond in quite a lot of trouble. They're getting full battery assault damage, and now a little bit of body blocking coming in from Marlon. There's not enough leaps left, but there is a Starstorm, and Beyond's going to be finished off by that. Nice. Raji coming in, bit of harassment onto ASD, and then just a straight up TP out. And to help out this Death Prophet over at the mid lane, and as James still just doing his thing down at bottom. Oh, gonna go for this latch. Decent damage. Can he land this? No, it gets completely dodged. Phantom Lancer didn't get a point in the lance until level 4. And Moonlight Shadow is going to help him get away along with his insanely high base move speed. And beyond, we've seen this story before. Trapped in the river, Clockwork right on top of him. SF could be coming over, and looks like he might just be dead once again. There's an arrow in one direction, and there's a raising SF in the other. Raji gonna try and out. They're gonna try and find these kills. No level 6 in the Death Prophet either. Could be some kind of a turnaround. AFD be waiting a little bit too long to start that TP. He will get punished since we have 7 or 8 heroes converging on the mid lane. Slark's gonna go and take over the top lane, it looks like, and Phantom Lancer still just contentedly free farming down at bottom. Does pop his Aquila on to threaten this building a little bit with his siege creep partner, but
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
yeah, not too much more happening there. Sad for the SF to get some of his souls reset though, but he's got 3 points in raise, so I don't think it's too much of a concern. He's sadder about the fact that he tried to TP and he died. So he's got the walk of shame back to mid lane. And playing catch up a little bit, but not too far behind Marana, who's just going to be going for some phase boots, probably a phase maelstrom kind of a build this game. And Marlin with this Clockwork rotation just runs straight up on mid lane, locks down You Love Me, but he actually wants to turn this one. He gets out the 2 siphons, ups the exorcism, and just goes charging forward. Needs to be a little bit careful. It's only going to be a couple of auto attacks to finish him off. He does have a fairy fire, so he's baiting somewhat for the ghosts to do their job, but Raji instead will be the one to tank the brunt of those raises and will be brought down. That's an exorcism forced and a kill. Where was this CDEC the rest of the qualifier? What is going on here? I don't know. They might still drop the ball, but so far so good. They're up 3 kills. I don't know if they have the tools to deal with the Phantom Lancer, but we'll have to see. This could just be a game where PL completely takes over. There's a bunch of different angles, I think, for FTD to start winning this game again. Either the PL just gets huge and completely wins by himself, or the Naga Nakira pull off some nice combos and team fights and they win because of that. This is a very fine line for CDEC to have to tread. But they're doing it pretty expertly so far. I really want to use this Doom to kill off the Slark up top, but Ego maybe suspecting what's going on. Try and wrap in on him from the side. Oh, he comes forward, they get the Doom off, and he should just straight up be dead. They have a nice path for everything beyond going to come off on the other side. Completely trapped in the trees, so they have any detection though. Hello? Any detection? Any detection at all? Just randomly riptide him. No, he's good. Doesn't even have level 6, but Stuck is apparently fine. They neglected to bring in detection, and meanwhile, mid lane, love me, done once again. The ASC on the Shadow Fiend. Alright. So SF still just buying a lot of little items to start off the game. Phantom Lancer at the top of the net worth. The rest of those top 4 spots are being filled by dire heroes at the moment. Clark's still trying to finish his level 6 and grab his treads, but that Doom was not a free kill. Raji grabs himself a sentry ward, but doesn't even have it delivered just yet. And Marlin, gets a little bit of a hero's welcome on the mid lane. He's done a lot of work for his team so far, so they're going to give him some space to grab his level 6 and let him keep on making plays. And same kind of story for Hero, though. I mean, his level 6 isn't necessarily as impactful as Clockwork's in terms of being able to make plays. Whoop. Slark swoops in. He wanted that bounty rune. Was it worth it though? He pops the Shadow Dance and then just immediately TP's bottom. I actually really like seeing that play when people realize they don't have to panic TP all the way back to base. So now you can just go straight back to farming instead of having to walk all the way down. So I'm not sure if he wants to be here in this Phantom Lancer's game. I think the PL can actually put some pressure on him, and he's pretty much with no Shadow Dance. So I guess I like the play in principle. In practice, didn't turn out so great. And now we're going to have an Exorcism pop for the top tier 1. Can CDEC actually mount a defense? So they have the level 6 yet. Clockwork's got this tome, but I don't think it's quite enough experience to get his level 6, or is it? We'll find out in a second. close for sure, but tier 1's already dead. PL still free farming down bottom. Doom has picked up some phase boots. Not 100% quite anything to be going for. First, would not mind seeing a blink dagger burst on him at all this game, given that he is the primary initiator, along with the Naga Iron. And CDEC, alright, we're looking for a hook here. It would like target a little bit more impactful than the Jakiro, though, I suspect. Oh, a really nice rocket flare is going to reveal the positioning of the Doom and the Naga, so they're forced to back up, and Sark gets to keep on happily hitting creeps. But the PL is just sitting here. They're not doing anything about him at all. Got some decent vision. They're a little bit worried about a gank finding its way down to the PL. I think he's thinking to himself, like, this game is going too well for me. It's too easy. Nobody's coming to pressure me. Nobody's in my lane. There's definitely something suspicious going on. And he's right. They're smoked up. They're looking for a kill with the clockwork, but it's not at bottom lane. Love You Love Me is the one in a little bit of trouble. Just spot him now. He's going to go for the TP out, but there's no way that he gets this. Battery assault to cancel. Follow up stun from the ledge, and it's going to be another kill for ASD. Raji just going to shove mid in the meantime. Going to TP up top. It looks like to dump macro pyre down and put an end to this push. But maybe realizing that was already coming. CDEC are just going to back off. They're going to continue farming. We've got a Dragonlance being worked towards by the Mirana. I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan of this, but it's also not a huge, not a huge commitment. Still haven't seen the hookshot used just yet, so Marlon does have another opportunity up his sleeve. PL with the full farm build, only the 1 point in the Spirit Lance, already the maxed out Phantom Rush, just making his way through the jungle. And FTD looking keen to take out this mid tier 1 tower. They're just going to pop the exorcism for it? Yeah. Alright, that makes life quite a bit harder for CDEC to initiate in here. They are going to pop the glyph. They could waste out a decent portion of the duration here. They've also got some Shadow Fiend spam to come through. They're going to hook into the backline, looking for the Naga Siren. They won't be able to save him with the song. The Arrow Blaster Naga could end up dropping. Ice Path does connect. Ice to the Exorcism is doing good damage, but they managed to burst down the Krob. Now the Phantom Lancer arrives on the scene, but he doesn't really contribute all that much. And CDEC not only take that fight, take 2 kills, and defend their tier 2 tower. Oh, man. Alright. That was nice. Slark's got quite a bit of... Why is everybody's playing double rates this game? It's kind of interesting. Those value stats in the early game, I suppose. Oh, nice one for Slark. Oh, trying with the arrow up top, a little bit off the mark to find the real Phantom Lancer, so it looks like he's going to be okay. He does almost have the Fusel Blade, so he's actually going to be coming online kind of soon. But FCD were not expecting to lose that mid-game fight the way that they did. Exorcism running, they needed to kill the Naga. If they didn't hook the Naga, then, like, if Clock had missed that hook, they would have just been completely donezo. There would have been a song reset, Ice Path, silence, DP doesn't get bursted. So, very high risk, but worked out great for them to be able to hold to that tower a little bit longer. About a 2k net worth lead, almost a 5k experience in CDEC's favor. They do get to do him out on the clock, but can they actually kill him off? The question, Battleless the bounty runes. Looks like Clark is actually going to be a-okay. Healing up, nice arrow connection. No, Siren in big trouble, does have some one charge, trying to stay alive a little bit longer, but James will still die in the end. And FT still just sitting behind their tier 1s, but looks like this bottom tier 1 tower can be brought down. Might be a little bit of a trade. There's Mirana over to mid. Try and hang on. And actually rotating some more heroes at the same time. Marlon comes running forward. Beyond still not doing great on this duo. He's going to be going for Shadow Blade this game, as opposed to the Blink Dagger as his preferred initiation option. But nice to see just either of the two. Definitely very important this game. Taking a long time to finish up Monster 1, so FTD should suspect that something is going on. And actually, PL can come TPing down here. With the diffuse blade, does quite a lot of damage. Heals by the S of a couple of seconds, then it actually lands the stop from the tree line. Lush should be able to chase this one down. The Requiem comes flying out, and Phantom Lancer has bitten off way more than he can chew. That was supposed to be the grand unveiling of the diffusal blade and a free kill, but instead, he's the one going down. And now Slark has a Shadow Blade. Alright, so you can start finding spares on these supports. Ooh, looks like Esther was going for the TPF, but his TP gonna get cancelled beyond. He closed the gap. Phase boots back up. He's pretty fast. Even sitting on the agi treads, a little bit of extra move speed. Will not find anything there. They really need to catch from the Shadow Blade. Okay, so PL's Grand Unveiling didn't go so great, but he's still got room to grow this game. Is there really any point in buying a Manta style? I don't think so. I don't mind the Yasha, but wouldn't mind just seeing like an S&Y build. He could also go for a Shadow Blade this game, which I don't think would be too bad. Would not even be opposed to the straight up heart ego. Does he get this kill, or is it just gonna end up being some stacks? Love You Love Me does have the Yule Scepter. He's got those two Spirit Siphons going. Marlon still with the hookshot on cooldown for a couple of seconds. Saves his own life, but Slark getting a couple of stacks out of that, and they are going to immediately smoke up and try and find another pickoff. Raji, man, this is such a sad ward. You still have this tier 1 mid and you have this tier 2 bottom, but you're just like, well, shit. We've actually completely lost control over our jungle, and I can't come all the way out here to put this ward, so I guess this has to be the next best alternative.
Boom, there it goes.
Ego knows there's a ward somewhere, but he can't figure out where it is. Alright, they just popped in another ward. Hookshot in from the Clockwork, but he didn't have the backup of his team. I think this is a step too far. Bad communication from CDEC is just going to end up being a free kill for the Phantom Lancer, it looks like. Oh. Yeah, thought his team was a little bit closer than they actually were. But that's only FTD's second kill of the game. Raji still just throwing up with his macro fire. Oh, up top. They actually managed to find some damage under the Shadow Fiend. He's going to go for the Requiem Bomb Beyond, taking big damage, but manages to survive. They didn't have enough mana for the Doom, but they didn't need it. And that is a dominating streak ended. Love You Love Me going to be very happy with that. Ego can even just, you can dive this for this kill, I'm pretty sure. Yule coming up, cooldown in 1 second. Love You Love Me just barely gets it off. Ego now forced to pop the Shadow Dance and run. James going to close the gap. The song's already been used. He's got the net. He's trying to wait out the Dark Pact, but Ego's still able to get the leap off and get out of there just barely in time beyond hunting it down with the Infernal Blade. I like Slark going for that play. Unfortunately, just couldn't quite finish off the crop. This extra null talisman, I think, has turned out to be pretty value for Love You Love Me this game. Though he didn't buy Wand, so maybe Wand would have done about the same thing. Oh no, Rush TPing out. Is he gonna make it in time? No. Gets completely slammed down. Phantom Lancer does decide against the Yasha at the end of the day. Is just going to be going for the heart. Makes him very, very difficult to kill. Now, I like this a little bit better. Like, you could go Yasha, and then, but it's not a good meta game, so if you're buying the Yasha, you're only really buying it for S and Y, and if you're buying S and Y, then why not just buy Heart? It would be my thoughts. Anywho, CDC, can we make another play? They've been doing pretty well so far. We got Blink Yules on the Shadow Fiend. I don't know if I like this build all that much this game, given that there is really good counter initiation from FTD, like Song, Ice Path, anything like that. Ego jumps across over onto the opposing high ground. Do they have any detection for him? Looks like he's just going to be able to get away courtesy of the Shadow Blade. Also breaks the smoke. It's a brave play, but it works out well. FTD just going to retreat back to the safety of their sentries. Might know that this Moonlight Shadow has been popped. What have they seen so far? They see a lot, actually. They know that Clark is here. Can they doom him? No, Hook misses. This is really scary if you're CDEC. They need a good Requiem, but I don't think they can get it, James. Doesn't have the biggest AoE on the Song of the Siren. It's only level 1, so not easy for him to just pop it there and try and set up for this max rank Ice Path. But FTD, what are they going to do instead? Are they really just going to go Roche? This is really a good play. Roshan does a lot of damage, and there's Rocket Flare to scatter. Like, look at this. Everybody's already lost a couple hundred HP. They do have the PL illusions to tank. Nicely done with the illusions. Also going to be tanking up that arrow. FTD taking this fast. They've always got the song to protect. James is in a good spot. Clockwork, no hook either. Ego wants to try and jump in from the other side here to finish it off. The PL's kind of low. It looks like they should still be able to get it for him. They need that little bit of extra damage. The song now coming through. PL still getting arrowed. You might lose the Aegis quickly. Love You Love Me, the Exorcism. Little bit more duration. Ice Path comes out now. It's still catching. That's going to be the end of the Leshrac, but Mirana jumps forward and looks to kill off Raji. He's down. They've lost the Phantom Lancer for the first time. Jet Prophet healing back up, but is going to get Requiem Bomb down. Able to survive a tiny bit longer, but it's also beyond trapped in the pit, and he's now also dead. They do at least manage to bring down the two that were caught in the Ice Path. Slark going down without even being able to get his ultimate off. Well, hook attempted. Raji getting run at. They do have the Phantom Lancer here, looking for a little bit of a turnaround, but there might just be too much damage. Doppelganger's forward. You're just buying another couple of seconds. James wants to finish this kill, and it's the Death Requiem that brings down the Phantom Lancer. FTD, they thought they were safe going for the Roche because they had that Song of the Siren, but instead it just turns out to be a, what, 6 for 3 fight, depending on how you want to count the Aegis. Not what they were looking for. Raji actually even died and fought back. And CDEC looking like they might be dragging FTD out of the... Man, there's a lot of kind of spiteful plays happening here, and from the bottom side of the China qualifier bracket. Beyond looks like he should at least be able to grab this kill. Alright, that's nice. That's a mega kill streak for him, in fact. Tons of gold. Mid tower is taking some damage, which is a little bit suspicious. Ego. Alright, we've seen this play before, but the Yules is actually on cooldown this time around, so it looks like Love You Love Me is going to be brought down. Ego, last little sliver of health, but does manage to get the ultimate off, so he's going to be okay. And still waiting for this Phantom Lancer to really come into his own. Almost has the river. He's been sitting on so much gold. I mean, he must have been sitting on a ton of gold in that last fight. ASD at least now has the BKB, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to interrupt his Requiem, but still possible. So the one shot isn't always going to be that easy. Ego pinging out this ward.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
FTD are doing the best that they can with the vision control. Still struggling a little bit. I think they just want to play for these two BKBs.
Radiant's top tower.
BKB on the Death Prophet, BKB on the Doom, get the heart on the Phantom Lancer. I still think that this is a game that the Phantom Lancer can more or less win all by himself, but he is not snowballing as hard as I was anticipating. Nope.
Dire's bottom tower
And not that fast, but gonna come running in here. What's the Mirana got? Mirana almost has an entire Mjolnir. Jesus.
swifter than ever.
Actually been farming very nicely. They don't even have that much setup this game. I guess they do have the hook cog arrow, but does feel like Mirana is back in a big way. Like, it started out, people were just picking Bane Mirana, Naga Mirana, and now seems like people are content to just care for the strength of the hero as is. Oh. Speaking of Naga, gonna get blown up. Easy Requiem Bomb from ASD, and then immediately blinks away. And FTD, oh, Beyond, he really wants this bounty. Gonna get it, does see the Clockwork down on the low ground. Phantom Lancer, alright, there you go. Heart of Tarask, he's got 3k hit points. Still gonna be going for the SNY afterwards, just wants to tank up as much as humanly possible. Spots the Clockwork here. Clock might be able to get a hook away if he can find the angle, but he's being blocked in by the illusions. Get a little bit of lockdown on the PL, but if he just gets a reset, there should still be a pretty good fight for FTD. We're chasing down after the Leshrac. Raji knows what's up. He's just going to keep on charging forward, but nothing he can really do. And Beyond is unfortunately just over at mid, unable to provide any additional catch. Pretty much got the BKBs now, though. How's the Slark doing? He's got 2.9k gold towards his next item, which is also going to be a BKB. So everyone just amassing BKBs across the board.
Incoming.
SF already level 20. Already has that plus 150 Shadow Raise damage. Oh man, he's getting real scary. And with this tier 2 dead at bottom, there's actually so much room for the Slark to work with and keep on farming up down here. That is the one kind of... No, that's the really nice thing about having Slark against the Jakiro. Normally this would be the situation where Jakiro is constantly shoving out this lane and just being a nuisance, but the Slark can kind of kill him at any time. So unfortunately Raji is having to play behind his cores, which is not really the situation that you want to be in as a Jakiro. PL still feeling somewhat comfortable to farm out on the map. He is still going to be going back for the Manta, which I find... He can't decide. He had SNY queued up, and then he's like, oh, Manta, but Manta doesn't even feel that good. So I guess I'll just go BKB. I would not mind seeing an early Nullifier this game. I think it's a very, very strong item on this hero, but... are they going to be going for smoke? Alright. Smoked up. Clockwork thinking about showing over here at mid. And so Lancer's just going to grab some farm. The Radiant Scan is going to reveal the position of the Slark. He gets his BKB delivered though. Might be difficult to find him. He's waiting up here on the hill. Doom going to lead. Can he find the Doom? Yes, he can, but they need to lock this Slark down a little bit further. They've also got the net. Nicely done. Arrow's going to fly through, but he gets completely soaked. Slark's now gone. They haven't even popped Exorcism for this. They're just going to let the Macro Pyre do its work. And they're going to set their sights on this mid tier 2 tower. Shadow Fiend's still pushing for all he's worth up top, as he has already completed this Aghanim Scepter. So big team fight pickup for him. James wants to lock him down. He manages to blink it, but can't really combo with the Requiem, so just tries to go in with the raises. Now he gets Yulesed up and locked down. Can he even find anything here? FTD are just converging on him. He pops the BKB and then so the Requiem is that going to be enough to keep him alive. It's coming back. He heals back up. He gets the raise and he kills the Doom. He's turning around. He wants you, love me as well. And now PL can just man up and hopefully finish the dub. They need to be careful of the Death Requiem, but it's not enough to finish either of these two cores. SF goes down fighting, and doing that is going to prevent this mid-tier 2 tower from being pushed, but that is still a huge loss. A bunch of gold going the way of the Death Prophet. Raji sitting in the trees. Alright, Macro Pyron's waves. Like it. Hard to play against the Slark, but still finding a way to do his job. Lots and lots of sentries getting planted everywhere this game. We'll have to make sure to check at the end of the game what the sentry tallies end up being. Better. FTG seem to be eroding this lead just a little bit. Okay, so Lancer's still just thinking about the BKB. Marana's got that Mjolnir, still continuing to scale. Gonna have that level 20 mana break before too long. And Slark, well, I guess we haven't really seen what he's planning since he died immediately after picking up the BKB. Hasn't really grabbed too much more farm. Gem even going to be picked up now for the Lesh. He's probably also thinking like, man, I bought so many goddamn sentries this game. Let's just buy Gem. If they lose the Gem though, then they are going to be in some deep trouble. We've got level 18 on the Death Prophet, so she's got the level 3 Exorcism. Doom back off cooldown in a couple of seconds time, as Beyond just keeps on scouting. And Slark, interestingly enough, is just going to be going for Scotty here. I wonder if maybe Lincoln's would be the choice, given that he is having a little bit of trouble with the Doom. But in theory, the idea is that he shouldn't really be getting doomed because he should be sitting a little bit away from the fight in Shadowblade, and then the fight gets initiated, and that's when he takes his opportunity to come in. But might be easier said than done. FTD sizing up for 2 towers, but also sending a permanent smoke across the map, cutting to try and find something. Looks like CDEC have kind of realizes this is going on. PL didn't commit for the bottom push, but oh, they might still catch somebody through the pit, but Roshan's still going to be dead for the minute and 15 seconds. And the Radiant do see a couple of heroes on this freshly planted observer ward, so they know that for the most part CDEC have dodged away from them. Seeing the Mirana and the Lesh along with the Shadow Fiend at bottom. Alright, I should just see everybody. I know that all 5 heroes are up here. Alright, so they should now spread out onto the map and grab some farm, but they are also probably worried about a smoke immediately after that D ward. So what do they do? And they're gonna go for a smoke of their own. Have people up on James. You get a force staff for some slightly easier positioning with the Song of the Siren. Raji still not really any items to speak of, but plenty of playmaking potential for him in these upcoming fights. Actually really important that they don't lose him since he's the biggest combo with the Naga Siren. Alright, potential fight here in the mid lane. CD smoked up for better positioning. They got BKB on the Phantom Lance, so you can really hard commit to this fight. They're going to pop the dust. The hook ends up missing. They up on the high ground. He's got the Doom at the ready. Also got the BKB ready to pop. He's trying to loop around to re-engage. What can they actually find? Phantom Lancer a little bit out from his team, but both really crappy initiation for the second. And let's choose to go back in. Pop the Song and Force Staff, but everyone is still just too afraid. It's just an old-fashioned game of chicken. And nobody is going in. But Roshan's up. Alright. Last time FTD did this, turned out to be a pretty poor decision, but maybe this time around it's going to look a little bit better. They have popped the Exorcism for this. Bottom wave's pushing in somewhat. Rocket Flare going to scout. Hook on cooldown, but only for another 10 seconds time. They're running over as fast as they can. They got to keep on spamming the Solar Crest to try and get through it fast enough. Hook shot at 4 seconds, hook shot at 3 seconds. Song comes out, they get the zoom onto the Shadow Fiend. They should also be able to set up for an Ice Path. Raji's running forward. There's the Macro Fire, there's the Ice Path, the hook shot forward onto the Death Power. She's got the BKB. They're going to shred the Shadow Fiend before he does anything. Grounded through loads of damage, but now just trapped. Almost kills off the Phantom Lancer, but he's going to be okay. He's still got the Aegis. 2 buybacks as the Shadow Fiend looks to re-engage. He's not going to have max souls though. Is that going to matter for this fight? He pops the BKB. They're going to go for the Requiem. Phantom Lancer lost his first life. They won't be able to arrow him. It's on cooldown. Death Prophet gets off a good silence, and now it's Phantom Lancer's opportunity to shine. Slark still has his ultimate, so he's able to commit. He's going to start right-clicking through. Phantom Lancer with the BKB. He's not doing enough damage. His build is tanky, but he's not actually killing anyone as he gets kited around. It's a double kill for the Mirana. Phantom Lancer trying to hide in amongst his illusions. He pops the cheese at the last moment. Tries to kill off Ego. He will do it, but it's just too much right-click from the Mirana, along with the minus armor from the Shadow Fiend. CDEC, it cost them some buybacks, but they win that fight handedly. They just didn't take any damage. Look at the damage output of the Mirana. She was just right-clicking the entire time. 8.3k damage dealt. It doesn't even have the highest damage build, but Mjolnir along with those leaps just doing so much work. Mana break is all. They've even found Love You Love Me. He's got the BKB off cooldown. He's going to be okay. Just wanted to force out the Phantom Lancer buyback. What can he actually find? Mirana pops the BKB and just stands here. Right-clicking, almost kills off the Krob. Oh, it's not quite going to be enough. Leap is on cooldown and he will be finished off at the end of the day. Only a dominating streak ended though, and that is the Krob buyback. That's the Phantom Lancer buyback also being forced. Oh my god. Mirana definitely looking like a good hero. The other thing is, FTD used Exorcism for Roshan. I think both of these fights have gone badly because they just choose to use the Exorcism to take Rosh. Like, why not use the Exorcism to take Rosh, pop Song to disengage, and then wait for your Exorcism cooldown? Instead, they're just basically not fighting with the heroes. Look at the damn dealt numbers in that last fight, and the lead was Phantom Lancer at 3k. They spent the entire Exorcism killing Roshan. And then Mirana spent the entire fight just killing everybody. Alright, so still some pretty valuable buyback just on both sides. Net worth not going to be moving too much. Still only about a 5k lead in favor of the Dire. Slark still not really getting all that close to his Scotty. Unfortunately did just barely end up dying in that last fight. And Phantom Lance actually going for a Scotty of his own. I don't know if I've ever seen a pro player be so indecisive about his item build, but I suppose the Scotty is also okay. I guess do you go for the crit talent in that situation? He's got so much survivability. It feels like, yeah, he just needs to do some damage for his team. And I'd like to see what FD are capable of if they actually just use an exorcism in a fight. Maybe, okay, Doom's got a blink now, so some of their initiation problems are going to be fixed by that. Lesh is buying on disc. Clockwork. Still just running around with this gem. Fortunately, they did not lose it in the previous fight. But there's also a gem on the FTD side. Beyond picking that one up, they're going to come running forward. What can they find? Beyond not going to commit this fight. They actually don't have their Phantom Lancer there. They smoked up, but they didn't bring everybody. They're going to get the jump in on top of both the Naga and the Jakiro can actually find this fight. James not using the sluggish chain, and he won't even get the opportunity. He gets shredded. Both of the supports here, they do now have the Phantom Lancer in the backline, looking for additional kills. He kills the one support. He's also going to kill the second. It's only support dead before, and a couple of BKB popped. If they just kite out this exorcism, I think that CDEC can re-engage into this fight. Only about half of the duration left, and they also bought back on the Naga Siren. Yeah, this is a really good disengage from CDEC. And PL, alright, he did go for the crit. Doom got used in that fight. I don't know quite on who. Maybe one of the supports ended up copying it. And PL does take his #1 spot on the net worth now. He's actually the one carrying the gem.
Dire's middle
ASD just pushing at bottom, almost has himself a Hex. Oh man, that's going to be really scary. With the 40% cooldown reduction on the Shadow Fiend, I was a little bit worried seeing his build that they weren't going to have not that they weren't going to have enough right-click damage. I suppose they do have Mirana and a Storm, but I've been absolutely blown away by how much damage this Mirana has been doing. I guess you just look at her talents, and that's where it's all coming from. Plus 20 damage, plus 100 attack speed on leap, plus 25 mana break. If you pop BKB and you leap and you're using the full duration to attack, you are doing so much work. And FTD just sitting here nursing their wounded tier 3 tower. Lesh, alright. What's he even got? He's going to be working on securing another gem, it looks like. Slark has picked up a Silver Edge. What is that for? Does this do anything in this game? Who's got passives? Okay, Naga has 4 actives. PL has Juxtapose. Sure. That's kind of annoying for him if you can hit the right one. Doom's got no passives. Hero's got no passives. Death Prophet doesn't have any passives anymore. RIP Witchcraft. Which was just a stupid, really boring ability, but... I don't know what the Silver Edge is for. Just like... Are you going to disassemble it? I mean, you can. It is an option. You lose 300 gold by doing so because you don't get the recipe. Or you lose 600 gold by doing so because you don't get the recipe back. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, Sark scouting. Phantom Lancer has that full Gotti. He is very tanky, 4.1k HP. The team's just kind of playing this game of chicken again over at mid lane. I'm just going for Shiva's. Net worth lead has dwindled all the way down to 3k. Next Roshan is going to be very important because of the Refresher Shard. Definitely something to watch out for. And this SF Hex definitely needs to be shown some respect by the FTD side. They do at least have the 1-4 staff on James, but he mostly needs that for his own positioning and for getting out of the clogs. Do have to give Clockwork some props as well for how he's been initiating these fights. It's not easy for Clockwork to initiate into these 5-on-5s, but he's been finding the right target very consistently. SD goes jumping in, gets the Hex up. Needs to be careful though, he gets doomed, and this might be straight up throw. He's gonna end up dying to this Gotti. I don't think he has buyback. Starts focusing on the Death Prophet. The Aeon disc pops, he gets his BKB off. James is being focused, he gets in front of the high ground, manages to get the mirror images out. He will finally be finished off. They've already lost the SF, and FTD doing a good job of just fighting together. I don't know what SF was thinking. I don't even think he was. Even if he gets that... What? Even if he gets BKB off a little bit earlier, He has to know that all of FTD are just right there. Alright, Exorcism is about to run out, as they're still dead for 95 seconds, so it's completely up to Mirana and the Sark to defend this one. At least Doom is on cooldown. Along with Exorcism, Arrow comes flying. They don't have the not to disengage with the jump in. They've got the stomp. They've got big damage. Mirana being brought down, doesn't have a buyback either, and this could just be straight up game. CDEC played so well for 40 minutes, and now they're still at the very last hurdle. They're also going to lose the Lesh to the Phantom Lancer. He was indecisive about his item build the entire game, but it looks like this Scotty has done the trick. They're going to take out the tier 3, and they paint straight onto the tier 4. There hasn't been buyback used yet, and it won't even be all about the third rush. It's going to be all about FTD just taking this game right now. Left by back, but it's only 2 supports to defend for the next 50 seconds. Yeah, just call it, boys. I have to admit, I'm impressed by CDEC. They're mathematically eliminated. This match for them does not matter in the slightest, but they really tried their hearts out. But unfortunately, they are going to be ending the TI8 kind of qualifiers with a 0-7 record. Not a single win to their names, and FTD actually one step closer to having the best record in the China qualifier. They're now 5-1, with still one match to play, so could potentially overtake Team Serenity, though that's going to come down to the result against LFY.